Now, political drama unfolds in the nation of Zimbabwe. What do we see happening here? We see headlines like this one coming out. ED sneaks out again to replace Chiwenga with Oppah Muchinguri for Ghana trip. We see Oppah Muchinguri has been appointed as acting president. Yes. Now the question is there a fallout? Is there increased tensions between Zimbabwe President Emmerson Mnangagwa and Vice President Constantino Chiwenga? Are we witnessing a fallout happening here? And then another question is this: what are the potential consequences of Mnangagwa's decision to send Oppah Muchinguri instead of Vice President Chiwenga to represent him in the nation of Ghana? So we see now Oppah Muchinguri emerging from the nation of Ghana. We see her in images here. Then we also see the new president of Botswana is also there in Ghana for President Mahama's inauguration there in the nation of Ghana. Oppah Muchinguri is there as the acting president. Remember, a few days ago we would hear of Kembo Mohadi failing to understand his own event, to attend his own event which he had organized due to health concerns. Now there is speculation that Kembo Mohadi is struggling to finish his short term as acting president. Now we see this happening. What are the implications to all this? Big up to everybody who's watching us live right now. My name is Dr. Clarence and welcome back to TV7 Live, where we get to give you all the hottest and top 20 topics, broadcasting live and direct from Zimbabwe, Africa. So, Mnangagwa's decision to send Oppah Muchinguri instead of Vice President Constantino Chiwenga to represent Zimbabwe at the inauguration of Ghana's president-elect carries several potential consequences domestically and regionally. Shift in power dynamics. Muchinguri's appointment signals a potential shift in the internal power dynamics within ZANU-PF. By sidelining Chiwenga, Mnangagwa may be attempting to consolidate his control over the party and diminish Chiwenga's influence. This move could further isolate Chiwenga, who has already seen his support base weakened by recent political maneuvers, which included cutting his access to military resources. The implications could include a more unified front for Mnangagwa's faction, but it also risks deepening divisions within the ruling party of ZANU-PF. Is there increased tensions? Sending Muchinguri in place of Chiwenga may exacerbate existing tensions between the two leaders. Chiwenga's absence from a significant diplomatic event could be interpreted as lack of confidence in his abilities or sign of diminishing relevance within the government. This could lead to further factionalism within ZANU-PF, as supporters of Chiwenga may feel marginalized and seek to rally against Mnangagwa's leadership. Now, how does this visit by Oppah Muchinguri impact regional dynamics? How does this impact regional dynamics? Muchinguri's role as acting president at a high-profile event enhances Zimbabwe's diplomatic presence in the region. Her participation may improve Zimbabwe's relations with Ghana and other nations, signaling willingness to engage in regional politics. However, if this is perceived as a move to elevate Muchinguri at the expense of Chiwenga, it could complicate Zimbabwe's diplomatic relations. This could complicate Zimbabwe's diplomatic relations, particularly if internal strife becomes known publicly. So what are the people of Zimbabwe saying about this? What is the public perception? What is the public perception? The decision may influence perception of both leaders. Muchinguri's visibility on international stage could bolster her reputation as a capable leader, while Chiwenga's absence might lead to questions about his effectiveness and health, especially given report of his recent struggles. This shift in public perception could have long-term implications for their respective political futures. Now, future succession plans. This decision also raises questions about succession planning within the ruling party of ZANU-PF by favoring Muchinguri over Chiwenga. Mnangagwa may be signaling a preference for her as a potential successor or key ally in future leadership contest. This could reshape the landscape for upcoming elections and influence who emerges the next leader of Zimbabwe after President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Big up to everybody who's watching us live right about now. To those watching us live, you can write your comments in the top chat or in the super chat. That's how I can see your names, so I can give you a shout out. So this is what is happening here. Now, this decision to send Muchinguri instead of Vice President Constantino Chiwenga amid speculation of a rift between the two leaders reflects internal power dynamics within the ruling party of ZANU-PF. Muchinguri's rise may indicate a strategic move by President Emmerson Mnangagwa to consolidate, support, and demonstrate confidence in her capabilities, potentially sidelining Vice President Chiwenga. This could lead to reconfiguration of alliances within ZANU-PF and affect government structures from now moving forward into the future. Of course, we cannot deny that this representation is strengthening Zimbabwe's diplomatic role in the region. With that, we cannot deny. Now, today, we also see none other than George Charamba finally speaking on his alleged firing or his alleged hiding. He would write a post on x.com. And what would he write? He writes this, showing on the screen right about now. Now, when we see George Charamba finally speaking, he writes this. Caught in the web of lies, I am not only on holiday, has never been in the last decade or so. Currently, I'm the acting chief secretary until 10th January, when I pass on the acting baton to Reverend Damasani. In view of developments in the region, I am unlikely to go on leave at all. Guys, that in absence is the part of the news gathering. So we see he writes, I'm currently on holiday, but I'll be replaced by Reverend Damasani on the 10th of January. Today is the 7th of January 2025, and we are left with only 3 days before we reach that date. So the guy is saying he's not fired, but he's going to be replaced on the 10th. What is he saying? What does this mean? Then, this Reverend Damasane, who is he and what has he done in Zimbabwe before? What is he prominent for, if he at all has any prominence in the nation of Zimbabwe? Big up to Chadi Adiki, Stephanie Jones, Miriam Mudondo. Everybody's watching us live. To those watching us live, you can write your comments in the top chat or in the super chat. That's how I can get to see your names, so I can give you my shout outs. So, Reverend Paul Damasane is set to take over the role of Chief of Secretary from George Charamba on January 10, 2025, following a recent reshuffle in the Zimbabwean government. This transition was announced by Charamba himself on the local media platform X. He would clarify his status and introduces his successor. Additionally, there are mentions on X of Reverend Damasane talking over, reflecting current sentiment or discussions among the users on the platform. Reverend Damasane is a prominent figure in Zimbabwe, known for his role both within the religious community and the governmental structure. Here is an overview of some of his notable positions. The guy who is coming to replace George Charamba. Religious role. He is recognized as a reverend, indicating leadership positions within the church context. His involvement in spiritual leadership is evident from his participation in significant religious events such as the Christian Convention at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair Exhibition Center in 1988, where he was present alongside the notable political figures like the late President, Vice President Joshua Ncabeko Nyongolo Nkomo. Governmental roles. Reverend Damasane has served as Deputy Chief Secretary for the Social Service in the Office of the President and Cabinet, focusing on monitoring various government programs across different ministries. So we see at one time he would work in the President's office. So he has held governmental roles before. Not only the one that I've just mentioned above, but even more. Reverend Damasane has served as the Deputy Secretary for Social Services sector in the Office of the President and Cabinet, focusing on monitoring various government programs across the ministries. He was previously Permanent Secretary in the Office of former Vice President Kembo Mohadi. His governmental roles have included overseeing social services, youth, sports, arts, housing, and social sectors. He is also set to take over from George Charamba, acting Chief Secretary, on January 10, following a cabinet reshuffle announced by Zimbabwe President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Cultural and community engagement. Reverend Damasane has been involved in cultural preservation and community initiatives. For example, he was the guest of honor at the My Beautiful Home competition and exhibition launch in Bulawayo, aimed at promoting traditional art painting in Zimbabwe. Other notable mentions: he has been referenced in context involving political scandals like the one involving Kembo Mohadi, where he was heard discussing issues related to phone cloning, seeing his involvement in administrative and possibly sensitive government affairs. Reverend Damasane's career illustrates a blend of spiritual leadership and significant administrative roles in the Zimbabwean government, highlighting his influence in both the sectors. up to everybody who is watching us live right now, who was watching us live right about now. We're seeing a lot of stories, a lot of happening in Zimbabwe. We see a lot of military personnel are being promoted to generals. They are being promoted to generals now. At this time, it is around more than 30 have been promoted so far. Big up to Chadi Aniki, Stephen Jones. Miriam Murombo says, that the lady is not very safe. Also, 𝓏𝒂𝒏𝒈𝒂𝒈𝒂𝒄 Mandlakaise Mubongo. Mnangagwa does not want to leave Zimbabwe at the moment. He does not want to distance himself from Chiwenga for fear of being toppled in his absence. TC says, General Manning Pasina plan. No more Chigura says, thanks Mkoma, thank you very much for that positive feedback. Enias and Love, hello, how are you? How are you doing? I hope you're having a good time. Jerry Chigodora. Go well, son of the soil. George, political stories are cumbersome, mightier than anyone. Filakashi Malamela, how are you, my brother there? How are you keeping it? Says, I hope I am in time. Yes, you are in time. And thank you very much for tuning to TV7 Live. I think I would notice you when you do make that post. You were online. Anyways, thank you to everybody who was watching us live right about now. With that, I'm going to sign out. I'm going to be back again at 8:30 Zimbabwe time. 8:30 Zimbabwe time. With that, I do sign out. Dr. Clarence is the name. TV7 Live is the channel. As always, thank you for watching. And I'm out.